everybody. My name is Andres Diaz. This is the More Plus channel. This is the Marvel spoiler talk of episode 2 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Episode title, The Star Spangled Man. Will, how you doing?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
Pretty good. It's a typical Sunday. Like it should be a rhyme, that song, Magalus Monday or something like that from the 80s.
Miracle Day?
Yes, thank you. It should be what do you call this Sunday? CZ Sunday or something. I don't know. I'm sorry, folks.
In the song, Sunday is her fun day.
Oh, I like that. I told Dick that. Folks, sorry for the horrible joke, but hey, it's Sunday. And today I think this episode was good. It's definitely, it gave us everything we needed to see what the series is going forward.
Mm-hmm.
We got more about, John Walker, more information about John Walker as a character, specifically him as the new Captain America, and of course seeing Sam and Bucky together finally, and their interaction is amazing, and then just getting more information about the Flag Smashers was very interesting, and like I'm liking them as villains, and so far I've been enjoying this. I'm very happy they're like expanding the Captain America franchise and like the universe and large.
Yeah. I thought it was a good episode. I'm not as sold on the Flag Smashers, I think, but
really,
I'm really liking U.S. Agent.
Of course, or Captain America. It's just strange they didn't call him a U.S. Agent.
That's probably. They probably won't, but
I mean, he's Captain America. Yeah. If I'm curious, like, this, like from last Sunday, like this show is very difficult to theorize, compared to WandaVision, and there's one thing I'm thinking in my mind, like, do you think that John Walker is going to be the main antagonist towards the end of the series? What do you think?
No, I don't think he's gonna be like a villain. I think he's just gonna be like an anti-villain, like an antagonist for Sam and Bucky.
Okay.
But, yeah, he's because they're like aligned on the same side. He just
I agree.
He just doesn't have the same like values that they have.
No, I agree. And then also it's like, I talked about this in WandaVision about the gray area. This show is really doing the gray area. Like, the one hand, I like John Walker, but then at the same time, I'm frustrated with him, or I like him at one moment, and then I don't like him at this other moment. And then you look at the Flag Smashers, right? And I kind of get what you're saying, like, but I'm intrigued. What is their mission goal as villains? And there's like a lot of moving parts because like obviously towards the end of the episode, Bucky suggests to Wilson that we should talk to Simo for I think he called it gather intelligence from about this this new terrorist group, and like he's another character I'm curious about how his story is going to be in this whole like story arc for the show, so there's a lot of moving parts. I'm like, okay, what they're doing here, but I think in general, I think they're really pushing on the political and racial and psychological genre / thrillers of the show, and it's like really cool, seeing Bucky telling Wilson how, like because you get up the shield, he's downing himself.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That was good.
it was very powerful, and it's one of the best like moments to see Sebastian as an actor, and like it was incredible. And then you know and then of course when Bucky took Wilson to see this Ayasa Bradley, a veteran super soldier from the Korean War, and him being not like an unknown super soldier and being treated badly, and then right after that you get this another powerful moment of this police gathering and seeing the disturbance that Wilson and Bucky are doing, and
right, and
it,
immediately assuming that it's Sam's fault.
exactly.
Like, yeah, it's
I,
interesting.
yeah, like this whole episode, I like it more than I think the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
It's despite the pilot is very good to reintroduce you these characters, but this episode just hits you hard with stuff they established in the first episode with
Mm-hmm.
the racial themes, the political themes, and and the action here is really great. I mean, top notch
Mm-hmm.
since the first episode, and I'm like very impressed by this show.
Yeah.
And juggling all this stuff at the same time. Um, and I guess we should go into just Sam and Bucky. What do you think about their like finally meeting each other and like their like how you say it? Bucky bugging Sam why he gave up his shield and like all that. What do you think about those?
Yeah, I mean, I really like their um, relationship and their banter.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like quite friends. They have the same mutual best friend. So
Oh yeah, that's true.
it's like a weird dynamic for them to navigate. Um,
Yeah.
it's always interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And Bucky dealing with Sam giving up the shield was probably the best part of the episode. Like, I agree with what you said before about that moment when they're in therapy and Bucky says, like, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Yes. It's yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. It was really sad, and yeah, and you know what I now that you mention it, they're not like friends. They're just like they're like friends of this one character we know, right?
Right. Who's no longer there. So, like,
Exactly. It,
it's like his memory is the only thing, like, bringing them together. So,
yeah, exactly. So it's really interesting. Um, yeah, like I mean, like, and you see that throughout this episode, like how Bucky like doesn't like Red Wing and that running
mm-hmm.
gag, and I guess my favorite moment is when he tried to encourage Wilson. Look, I'm sorry about Red Wing, and I love the comeback. No, you don't. And then I really appreciate that. Yeah, and I guess I think that's like maybe the point of this series, right? Like if Wilson doesn't become Captain America, right? Theoretically, if that doesn't happen in the show, like I can see them become this new, like it could be like this new version higher for heroes from the comics, and just not using Pyro Man or Iron Fist, just Falcon and Winter Soldier. That could be actually the direction they could go.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, and I think instead of just taking this, the Captain America, because we don't know if John Walker will become a villain, right? So
Right.
I'm just theorizing maybe that this could be the direction that the Falcon and Winter Soldier become this thematic duo, basically, and continue the legacy of Captain America as their monikers they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all that stuff is pretty cool. I guess another one I what else I think I it's kind of hard to say. I think the Buggy stuff I like the most
Hmm.
in these last 2 episodes, and there's a lot. I mean, because like Bucky hasn't had this kind of personality since the movie, like since First Avenger, and so it's just refreshing to see him talk more
Hmm.
and getting out some of his psychological, you know, effects he had from Hydra and all that
Yeah.
being controlled, as assassin. So I guess I want to kind of transition to John Walker. What do you think about him, like now as a character, seeing more information and like um as the new Captain America?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he seems like a good enough guy.
Mm.
I don't think he's like, gonna be a villain, like I said. But
Mm-hmm.
it definitely seems like he's in it for the like fame and the attention and like
Mm-hmm. Okay.
his idea of what Captain America represented was that like uh, respect that people put on him instead of just like embodying the values he represented.
Yeah, or earn it. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I agree because it was interesting how he said like he's no Doctor Banner or Tony Stark.
Hmm.
And it was really interesting how he could uh you know uh, like compare him to Captain America. Like he's there trying to like, and another thing is like it's interesting like paralleling the whole opening scene from the first Avenger, how like Captain America was doing the like what do you call those, the parent um propaganda tours he did, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
before like before he did the act in the Line of Duty, he did parent uh, propaganda, TV spots uh, and tours, right? And Walker's doing it as well, but he really wants to get into the action. But is it for helping people or just the thrill of it? Like that's where I'm curious where he lands from that.
Yeah. Like, and he also seems like too aligned with the government.
Yes.
Like he's like too willing to follow orders. It seems like,
Mm,
which is not what Captain America's about. It's
no,
about like doing the right thing instead of doing what you're told. So
exactly. Um, yeah, and yeah, not only like he's following orders for the government, but like he will do things that Cap will never do. Like he's like using his power not in the right way. Like because Bucky got arrested, right?
mhm.
Because he was he missed the therapy session, right?
Right,
And like, and of course, Walker was the one that helped out getting him out, right?
right.
At the same time, he's just doing his selfies and
Hmm.
you know all that. There's no way Captain America would do that.
Yeah,
If
and
he,
he's also like he got Bucky out of jail not because he like wanted to help Bucky, but because he wanted to recruit Bucky to help him.
Mhm. Yes. Well, and see, and that's where it becomes a gray area, right? Because like he's trying, like at least he's trying to get, like, I mean, like the way he does it doesn't really feel nice, or like he's generally wants to, you know, be like a leader. Like he's trying to get those two to be with him and stop this
Yeah.
terrorist group, right?
Right.
But like he and right away he's a little shady, or like he's not the right guy, right?
Right. Yeah, he's not the right guy.
Like he tells Sam in the Jeep, look, I want you to be my ring man, right? And then he
Hmm.
kind of got assaulted about that, and he leaves from that Jeep.
Yeah, like because he doesn't want to be a team. He just wants Bucky and Sam to approve of him, so he feels legitimized as Captain America instead of like
Yeah,
earning it.
yeah,
Yeah, like or not even he wants them to respect him. He wants people to think that Sam and Bucky approve of him as Captain America.
That's true. I yeah, I don't know why. Like he has the shield. Like I feel like he's hurting. Like that's hurting his psychological brain, right? Like just get. I don't know. Like that moment was weird. And then
I think he knows that he didn't earn it and that he shouldn't
no,
have it, but he's trying to justify it to himself.
yeah, exactly. It's very interesting. I like he has his partner, Hoxton,
Yeah,
and I like how it's this little parallel between him, like, and he's also another character, Battlestar. So we have another like Captain America villain from the comics here, and
it's a villain.
huh?
Okay, yeah, I wasn't familiar with that character. So
Yeah, he helped in the comics. I just get into like references. So he's like a character from the comics. He helped U.S. agent to like set up like sabotage some stuff to make like the U.S. agent in the comics to look he was doing the job right and like he was saving people.
okay.
So it's kind of like Mysterio's plot from Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah, just like tricking the
Yes, exactly.
population into thinking they're a hero when they're actually
Yeah,
a villain. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Pretty fun
And
to
this,
see.
yeah, and so that's why I'm saying like I mean that is a little maybe far fetched in this series, but like it could happen.
Yeah, I could see it. Like um, Walker doing something like horrifically wrong, and then them trying to like spin it as heroic in the media. I could
Yeah,
see it.
yeah. And one theory that I'm hearing, and like I saw on Friday, like someone mentioned that maybe Walker is working with the Flag Smashers, right? Like he's helping out them to get this new Captain America running, and like because there's another theory that's been going around because we got a little like the small text that the main villain from the Flag Smasher I hold on I know the name just okay Carl Markenthal, the character that's like the main lead for the Flag Smashers, the lady.
Oh yeah.
Um, like she got that text right, and like we don't know if it's like the uh the main villain, the pirate broker from the comics. So so like it'd be either that or Walker. So there's just like that is possible directions that the show could be going, But for now it's just a little mystery, right? And I guess and so and it's interesting that this episode has full of like Captain America replacements because with the person Isaiah Bradley, the variant super soldier, his I think nephew, he's another major character.
Patriot.
Yes,
Right.
and
Eli
so we got
Bradley.
him here. And like just like one division, we're getting a little bit of like the Young Avengers members.
I'm excited for that. It seems
Yeah.
like that's what they're leading towards because we got Miss Marvel too.
Yes.
We have Cassie Lang in the Ant-Man movies.
Yeah.
Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye
Yep.
show.
Yep. Kate Bishop. Yep. Yep. And
Yeah.
Ironheart.
Yeah, Ironheart. Yeah, they're definitely. There's no way they're not
like
leading up to that.
Yeah. Which I guess that's I guess what his conclusion in this episode, this show, they're building up to that, as you say, Will. Yeah, and speaking of that, them traveling to Baltimore was very interesting, and like learning that there was another super soldier. And what do you think about that scene? Like, it was very just shocking, I would say.
Yeah, I thought it was powerful. Yeah, especially like for Sam, who's like already feeling like um, he like gave up this responsibility he had just for the government to like toss him aside and replace him with some like generic white guy. To learn that after Steve was frozen, they were experimenting on this black man in like the 50s, and then when they were done with him, they just kind of like tossed him aside and
Yeah,
replaced him with a random white guy. Like, just
yeah.
yeah.
It's like, and also I'm checking my notes, and it's like from the U.S. government and Hydra,
Mm-hmm.
because they were doing that as well, because they were training other Winter Soldiers.
Yeah, it was probably um,
I mean,
like the plot of was it Agent Carter? Well, and Winter Soldier, where they were like the U.S. government was bringing in Hydra scientists to
oh
like,
yes,
which
okay,
is based on Operation Paperclip, which was a real thing after World War II,
World
where
War Two.
the U.S.
Okay,
government hired Nazi scientists.
hmm okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, I was like, did Hydra or like the U.S. government? Yeah, but and it's true because it it they were still doing that, especially in the Incredible Hulk. Like Ross was trying to recreate the
Yeah,
super
like
soldier, and
so
like,
much goes back to the
yeah,
serum.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was very interesting, and like, and it also showed the reflection of like in general, like was reflecting on how back like in the early, I guess during World War II, or like the government was trying to test this new vaccine, but like they did an unauthorized testing on the African Americans, and like they died from the like like I say they didn't know what they were doing, and
Yeah,
because of
there's a
yeah,
long history
yeah.
of the government experimenting on African Americans,
Oh my God,
or
yeah.
just like the medical industry mistreating them. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
I,
was.
yeah. That really shook me a little bit, and just hearing that,
Mhm.
and learning that from like a from another YouTube channel, and like him explaining that like part of history that I didn't know. Like I didn't know that,
Yeah,
and again, this shows like it also shows like how my like education programs just like I'm surprised they never talk about this, and it's like
yeah.
I,
Like,
I,
um, I think I like first heard about that in high school, but it was like
oh, okay.
quick, and like we didn't spend a lot of time on it. Um, yeah,
Of
but
course.
you'd think that that would be like a big part of any history class.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I don't know, like I mean, like it's cool to see like TV shows and like PBS like with their drama shows, or like, or just like documentaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just showing how much America like not doesn't really show its true colors, and like
Mm-hmm.
and with the horror of the actions they did, like the Japanese concentration camps, which I've been learning these last 2 years. I didn't know that happened, or
Yeah,
like
that
like I
yeah,
didn't know that recently.
yeah,
Watching,
that's
you know, um, uh,
uh,
oh, sorry, you're gonna go. You want to say
yeah.
something?
It's I'm glad that you're like learning about all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
It's important to know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got my attention from a like a AMC show called The Terror in Fanny. It was a good horror show, and it concentrate that aspect, and and it's got like a supernatural show, but it really showed the horrors of that time.
Yeah.
And then I see a couple documentaries and PBS talking about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so this part was very interesting, but like just sad. shocking.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy the show is delving into these like real world topics and like in a very good way, not
Yeah.
at your face. Um, yeah, and also the show like with that Baltimore scene of like Wilson like not only giving up the Steve Rogers mantle, right, but like also not getting recognition as a hero.
Right.
Like it's like you should know who Falcon looks like, right? Right. Right. It's kind of funny
Like,
they didn't.
yeah. Like it doesn't matter if you save the world, you're still gonna have a problem where
Yeah.
like a police officer can like pull you over and start arresting you because they just assumed based on the color of your skin that you were guilty of some crime.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm happy they're doing that. I'm happy they're not, shying away from that, and so it just continues the political nature of these Captain America movies, and that's a good thing. I guess let's get into like one last thing. Let's talk about the Flag Smashers. Now, you say you don't like them, so tell me why. Yeah. I'm curious.
I don't understand what their goal is or what their ideology is.
Okay.
So they say that they think everything was better during the blip, but they never say why it was better. Okay. And I'm having a hard time understanding like what would be better if half the population disappeared and everyone had like and like humanity collectively had all like so much trauma for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then they don't like the global repatriation council that's in charge of like reintegrating people that blipped back into society because they think that they're valuing the people that came back more than the people that stayed. But like if you disappear for 5 years, there's going to be a lot of like logistical things that need to be worked out. Like it just doesn't seem like something to get upset about, and definitely not something to like start a terrorist group over.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel like they're not explained like because how I say it when the blip. So one channel explained this more better than this show's doing. Like I'm trying to remember what they were saying. Like it was saying that when the people blip during the snap, during the 5-year gap, right?
Yeah.
So the government tried to, like establish a normalcy during those 5 years, right? And like they were able to help the homeless the homeless people or like the refugees that were left, and like they gave them like how you say it, this like a repair station, right? But then when the people came back from the snap, when the Avengers got everyone back, right? That like I say, with the whole population came back, the government, like I say the real example, like you focus this one thing, but then when this new thing becomes a problem, they lose interest in that other problem, right?
Okay.
So that's what the Flag Smashers are doing because they feel like when everyone came back, they're gonna forget the people that they were helping.
That they were helping during this. Okay.
Yes, that's their motivation, and I don't think, and I can understand why you didn't understand it because they're not like giving you details or like explaining full in depth in the show, and I think they need to talk more about that in the next episodes.
Yeah, hopefully we get like an episode explaining Carly's backstory.
Exactly, and so that's the main motivation of these villains, and so that's what they're stealing the medication, and then and they're going to be the main villains, right? Their plan is to wipe out the whole population, kind of like similar to what Thanos did. Instead of the snap, they probably just used like a biological weapon.
Interesting.
Exactly, and so it's this they it's this like gray area of they're not the villains of the story, but like what they're doing is um extreme. It's almost the level of Magneto, Killmonger in Black Panther,
Yeah, it reminds
and
me of Killmonger.
yeah, and Ra's al Ghul from the Dark Knight trilogy. So
Mm.
I think it's all interesting. It's just it's not talked about a lot, and like we just get small bits of it in these last two episodes, and so I just feel like we need to get more of the motivation, um, um, and also like get to know these characters more because we got one member die to save
Hmm.
them from escaping, and um, it's just like kind of difficult to. It's just a lot of juggling they have to do, and I feel like that's the one area they haven't focused yet.
Hmm.
So that's their main motivation. And I guess um, anything else you want to talk about with the Flash Smashers? Were there any other problems that wasn't clear?
No, I think that was it, really.
Okay. Yeah, I know that was a little confusing. I hope I cleared that up for you, Will, and
Yeah, that helped.
it's
I don't know if it's like a great uh, plan or like
you know
motivation for something, but you know, it's okay.
yeah it's a little like I like how they're doing that. Like it's I don't agree with their methods, but like I understand what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like with Killmonger, where like I get the motive. It just seems like the methods are way too extreme.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I mean that's kind of like that for. I mean, I shouldn't say like it's like that for every terrorist group we have experienced, but it's different. It, like you understand their philosophy, but then you don't agree with their methods. Um. Uh. What else? That. I guess. To kind of cover in general, like references or like details. I like the joke about the Black Falcon and like
right. Yeah, because he was the first superhero, like African American or African, like just black superhero that didn't have black in his name.
exactly.
So it's great.
That was I love that. That was a great way to address that, and it was one of the best jokes in that episode.
Hmm.
And then also we got Sharon Carter. Like we got a little bit of you know
She got
um
name dropped.
exactly they got
Yeah.
name drop and we discover as obvious we know that she was branded as enemy of state you
Hmm.
know and so I'm very curious about you know her return and see where her character will be in the show as well. So hopefully she will be maybe coming up in the next episode with
Yeah,
Seymour, right?
yeah,
Um,
maybe too.
and then oh, let's not forget the Tolkien reference, the Lord of the Rings thing. I
Hmm.
I don't know. That was a funny gag from Bucky. I love his humor.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Um, I love that, and then I kind of love this like we use these like events like the Battle of New York, the snap. I love their saying the flag smashers being the big three, the androids, aliens, and wizards.
yeah,
That's very cool, and I love how um Walker also
yeah. It's probably like the military's distinction for different um like
um
threats. Yeah, so
yeah,
it makes sense that both Sam and John Walker are using that language.
yeah, and it's a cool detail expanding the universe.
Hmm.
I like that because it'd be funny when we get to like the cosmic villains and the mutants, right? Like the
Yep.
mutants will be the fourth one,
Yes.
and that'll be like very cool to see that list. Um, And then I think that's it for the references. And then like towards the end of the episode, we see, Bucky suggesting to talk to, Simo. Did you want to talk about anything about the therapy? If, um,
I mean, it was just a fun scene.
yeah, it was fun thing. I love the staring contest.
Yeah, I love watching those two play off each other.
It's so funny and so great. I love this episode because of those two, and it's funny. Yeah. I guess we can just wrap up and say we got a little quick tease of Simo, and I know you know this, but like his prison cell number you saw in the camera, Cella 2187 Cam 2, that's Leia's prison cell. Cell number from Star Wars. So I love that little detail.
That's cool.
And next episode we're gonna see Simo returning, and that's very exciting. And I'm very curious to see who's gonna make him, like how he's gonna escape from that prison, and is he gonna join up with the Flag Smashers, as we're gonna have double antagonists of the show. Like I'm very curious where Simo is heading for this series, and I'm very excited to see Daniel Bluio's return of this series. So, in the MCU. Anything you want to go for Simo's return or anything like that? Theories or stuff like that.
Yeah. I wonder if he's gonna join the Flag Smashers.
I mean, he has to, right? Like he needs resources.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And also with the mystery text, it could be Simo as well.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
although he's in prison, so it'd be hard for him to text, but not impossible because
yeah.
yeah,
yeah, exactly. I mean, they have their ways somehow, and it's like I see that in every television. Like some criminal, gets like a cell phone or like a weapon in prison, and it's like, how do you get in that? Like, it's just like
there's ways to smuggle stuff in.
Oh yeah,
it's just I feel like Zemo would be in a maximum security facility with like, and he didn't really have any like allies or friends on the outside. So
no, well, he was like a Sokovian soldier. Right?
Yeah, but it didn't seem like he was in touch with any of those people in Civil War. He was like largely acting by himself. So
yeah, that's true.
But it could still have context. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
Happens.
Yeah,
I'm worried about him and Bucky being in the same room.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, so I wonder if Bucky could still get brainwashed by the code words. That's definitely going to come up, but
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, and another like a production thing that's also exciting for that is the writer from John Wick is writing the next 2 episodes.
Oh, cool.
From now on, from episode 3 and 4. So I'm very curious to see the character interactions and what's gonna happen with them, and I think that's exciting to see Bucky and Simo's conversation to be almost the level of John Wick dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited about that. Yeah, I'm very curious if Sherry did cure Bucky's brainwash, but and also I mean Simo did have the book for a longest time. He studied it and
no, he definitely has those words memorized.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Probably be fun. And my God. I'm very excited for the next episode. Thank you, Will, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
This one was a more lively episode. I think there was more to discuss, and there was more jam packed in this episode than the last episode. Salute.
Yep.
Yep. Well, thank you, Will, for coming. Thank you for everyone for listening to the podcast. Just watch out for next week's next podcast on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 3. Me and will discuss that in next Sunday. So hit the subscribe button and see you guys later.